Howdy folks, and welcome back to another video. November already, the leaves are bailing off the trees and the thermometer's dropping below 10 degrees. So it's time to take my Robomowers inside for the winter. I've got a couple of Husky 550 mowers doing the grind for me, keeping my 5-acre spread looking clean and trimmed. Had those bad boys working round the clock this season from March clear through November, laying down the straightest lines you ever saw. All thanks to that GPS mojo they're riding on. As you can see, the place is kind of big. I used to do it myself with that old rotary mower you might have caught in one of my other flicks, but these Husky mowers, they cut smoother, straighter, and way cooler than I ever could. So here's mower number 2, hanging out in a little garage I threw together, and over there's mower number 1, sitting in its original Husky home. And together they are keeping this entire field straight and short. It's 10 in the morning and I've already popped the garage open on mower number 2. Started unhooking that loading platform, feeling like I'm getting stuff done before the coffee even kicks in. Lifted the platform up and what do you know? Dirty rats, folks.
Vermin? A dirty rat?
Anyways, I took the charge station and mower in for a proper inspection. They ran the entire season without major issues. The only thing I did was changing the blades from time to time, that's it. But man, they're filthy. So before I install new parts such as new blades and wheel brushes, I need to properly clean them first and inspect for any damages. These Husky 550 mowers are the top of the line and cutting up to 10,000 square meters each, cruising around the yard with GPS like it's mission control. You can run the whole show from your phone app. You can do just about everything with that slick little gadget, no joke. Anyways, I wiped all dirt from the inner body and blew off all the gunk with some compressed air. And right after that, we're popping the outer shell off the inner body by unplugging these 3-wire connections which are hiding behind those rubber grommets. Just needs a bit of wiggling there before it pops out, folks. And there you go, unplugging the last connector and move on to the next step. I'm cleaning the inside of the outer shell while my dad is opening up the charger to inspect the PCB board. And sometimes those tiny critters, ants especially, can mess up the PCB board in the charging station. So we gave it a good blast with compressed air and cleaned it right up. And don't forget to scrub all corrosion from the copper charging points with a wire brush. Next up is inspecting the cutting disc you see here. This is a 3-blade disc and we're probably gonna upgrade it to a 5-blade sometime soon. We noticed that all 3 blades has broken off, so we removed the cutting disc to see if there is any damage done. Luckily there wasn't, but 2 screw heads have been broken off, so we need to drill those out. After drilling, we had some wiggle room and my dad was able to remove the stumps with some pliers. And after that, we slapped on some fresh blades with brand new screws. Now this puppy's ready to hit the grass and is ready for some serious cutting next season. And wherever we go, my Dutch Shepherd Gideon is also around to supervise the entire process. And while my dad is putting everything back together, Gideon approves. Although he really hates that camera, a shy boy, that's what he is. And check out those wheel brushes, man. Totally worn out as they've seen some serious miles last year. We're gonna slap on some fresh ones before the new season rolls in. You can count on that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna change them right now. It's an easy job. Just peel out the old worn brushes, wash the holder with some soapy water and get the new ones in. On one side of these holders it says insert, and that's where you put them. Brushes drops in from the top and you have to make sure all hairs of the brush go through. The brushes are dead cheap. I paid 18 bucks for 8 pieces. And there you go, both sides installed. The brushes are held by just 1 screw. Easy peasy. And for some reason, watching those mowers do their thing always reminds me of a game I used to play. Anyway, After the outer shell was properly cleaned, it's time to slam it back on. We also cleaned the body of the mower and reconnected the 3 wires back to the cover. And while my dad's putting the mower back together, I'm gearing up for the next step, laying down the foundation for my new mower base. And while Mower 1 mows where no other mower mows, I'm gonna do the final cutting with this old beast right here. Flip the choke, topped it up with fuel, and let's start her up.
Her name is Kubota, and her engine's light blue.
Another relic from the old days, folks. My old Kubota can't be stopped by nothing. It eats up everything it encounters, no matter if they are chunks of wood, small stones, or tree branches. Nothing is safe from this beast. I'm gonna build my new mower base on a concrete slab of 2 by 1 meter, as I don't want it straight onto the ground anymore. The base will house both mowers next to the man cave and right under the GPS unit. That makes wiring everything a breeze. I'm gonna make a mold for the pour from concrete plywood. It's 2 meters long, 1 meter wide, and about 10 centimeters deep. Great to see you're still watching, folks. Maybe you should consider a subscription, you hear? It's free and helps me a lot. Yep, great spot and enough room for 2 mowers and a very special base. And both will have an excellent view, wouldn't you say? Next day, and I'm gonna prepare everything for the concrete pour. Getting that mixer onto a tarp as working with concrete gives a heck of a mess. Me and my buddy are digging out the sand inside the frame, and I've got my little carry-all fired up in race mode, ready to haul that dirt off to another spot. Let's go! Now that's much better than swerving around with an old wheelbarrow, right? We checked the depth, petted the dog, digged some more, and checked if everything is where we want it to be. Cutting up some old metal rods to serve as stakes, start leveling the frame and drive the rods into the ground to support the frame. It ain't really a problem, but mower number 1's sliding in and out of the charger like it's trying to impress on date night. Anyone familiar with this, folks? And with the first batch of mud all cooked up and ready to serve, we're officially laying down the foundation for the base. And there it goes. Further down the line, I'm laying down the rebar supported by some stones to keep it fixed about 5 centimeters from the top. And it was at this moment we realized that we came short on supplies. So I called my favorite hardware store if they could help me out, bringing me some supplies as fast as they could. And they did. Now y'all thinking that these folks did a nice sponsorship on this video, but no, sir. These nice folks have proper know-how about just about anything, and they'll think right along with you to make your build happen without skipping on service or breaking the bank. And super friendly too. Now how about that? So long, fellas, and a big thumbs up for the express delivery. And with that fresh batch of concrete, we went ahead and wrapped up the foundation good and proper, smoothed it out like we almost knew what we were doing, and let the darn thing sit there to dry all nice and slow. A few days later, we fired up the sander and went to town on all them little bumps and wobbly bits, smoothing things out. Then we grabbed a shovel and hacked off all that runaway cement that tried oozing out of the form. With the concrete all hardened up good and solid, it was finally time to yank that form off. We pried and tugged on that thing like we were trying to open a stubborn pickle jar. And when it finally popped loose, we stood there admiring the slab like, I'll be damned, it actually worked. And here comes mower number 1 wobbling its way back to the dock again. Let's see how many tries it'll take this time. I'm betting it'll bounce around like a drunk raccoon trying to find the porch steps. I guess it docked perfectly. Seems totally random, though. Anyways, I'm out here measuring the middle of the slab so I can scratch me a line across it and figure out just how much elbow room each of them charging stations is gonna get. Now that's the perfect size for what I have in mind. It's time to unhook mower number 1. Get that inspected and cleaned just like the other one. Remove the mower garage and unplug the power connector from the charging station. And when I lifted up the charging station, I noticed the same vermin tunnels just like the other one. And just look at that, a complete tunnel network. I smashed it with a piece of wood and removed the power cable from the ground. And then I cleaned the garage, the charging station, and the mower just like the other one. No need to film that again, as you saw that all before, right? Now, to make this whole setup look like a scaled-down military base, I'm gonna fix me up a barbed wire fence to make it all look like some tiny troops are holding the line against any lawn intruders sneaking up on the perimeter. I'm cutting some steel angle iron for the base of the fence here and marking the spots where the horizontal fence beams will go. Don't you worry, folks. It will all make sense later, so keep watching. It's welding time, and since my MIG welder's out of gas like Uncle Earl after chilly night, I'm gonna have to bust out the old stick welder instead. And with that first few welds in, I'm checking if everything is right where it's supposed to be. And what do you know? A perfect fit. Time to drill some holes and cut some steel rods and weld that horizontal pillars in. Stick welding isn't easy, folks, and I'm not very good with it. But practice makes perfect, and since my dad is a stick welding champ, I learned a lot just watching him do it. And after a while, I was stick welding like a pro. And after I welded all the steel rods in, it already started to look like a mini fence. Welded up the top, double-checked the measurements, and welded in the short side of the fence. Cleaned up the welds with my grinder and getting ready for the next step, the supports for the barbed wire. I cut and drilled a shitload of these metal beams that I welded on the top of the fence structure. I will show you what it's for in a moment. But right now I'm welding in 7 of these beams per fence, as you can see here. Time to take some measurements on the concrete slab. I placed both sides of the fence to see if everything fits how I want it. And it did. Just what I had in mind, folks. Took both fences to my outdoor painting booth, primed the lot, and sprayed it with a black coating. I gutted some terminal blocks up and removed all plastic insulation from them, as they are perfect to hold a metal wire. Then I guide some metal wires through all the holes of those metal beams, pulled them tight, and locked them in place with these terminal blocks. The idea of this all is this has to look as barbed wire on top of the fence, which, in my opinion, looks great. Got myself some stretch metal for the fence itself. It has fine 2mm gaps, which is perfect. I tried to spot weld this tiny piece of metal, which was quite a challenge to say the least. But after a few mishaps, it welded up just fine. I cut some long pieces for both sides, put on my welding mask, and got to welding again. Gave the entire bare metal fence a black coat of paint before the rot sets in. And with most metal work behind me, take a gander at how it looks now. But a fence isn't a real fence without some proper signage. Sourced a few from the internet, printed them out, and glued them onto some plastic. And with these signs on the fence, it gives you the miniature vibes right away. It's February already, and the weather's looking finer than a hair on a frog's back. It's a peach of a day to get to slapping some color on the scenery. And by scenery, I mean that big old concrete slab out yonder. Gave the cement a spit shine earlier this week and picked me up a tin of fancy concrete paint. I made sure to drown every last crack and spider hole with a brush first, 'cause you can't go rolling over a concrete surface with these tiny holes, right? Soon as them holes was drowned in black paint, I took a rolling pin and got to rolling. I put a layer on there thick enough to stop a buckshot, just to make sure it was all covered good. And within 30 minutes, the job's done. Nothing fancy, just a big old black concrete slab. And with that fresh paint and all, it's time to see how my tiny fence looks on that black slab. And what do you think of that? That fence turned out just fine. As a matter of fact, the more I look at it, the more ideas I get. And this is one of them. My power is making a circuit from an old PC power supply to operate 2 rotary beacons triggered by a motion sensor. So when the robots coming in to roost, they will lit up the sky for a certain time like it's Saturday night. These beacons started life pulling 24 volts, but my old man rigged them to run on 12-volt juice instead. It slowed that rotary speed down to a crawl, just like I was hoping for, folks. And they both work just fine. Awesome! I extended the wires and guided them through the fence post. What do you think? Looks good, right? The next step is getting the wiring from those beacons from outside to inside, so I guided the power lines behind the steel plating. And right after that was done, I placed both fences and both charger stations onto the slab to do some measuring and see how much wiggle room there's left. I drilled holes in the slab so both charging stations and garages will be bolted solid as a rock. With any luck, them mowers be docking and departing smooth as butter. It's March the 1st and spring is in the air already. And with the sun shining, I threw on my sweater and locked everything in place with screws and plugs. Sorry for the overexposure, but the sun is shining like crazy. But here's how it looks now. Almost done with base building, folks. And just to tidy things up, I'm gluing in a black PVC pipe behind the fences to guide wiring through from the beacons to the controller inside. And my other Husky garage finally arrived. Hip, hip, hooray. And I also screwed that onto the slab just like I did with the other one. This is the motion sensor that will activate the beacons when the mowers return or leave the base. So I'm guiding all the wiring from outside to inside, stacking it away behind the metal wall. Right where my dad is hooking up everything together. 3D printed this cap to act as a rain cover for the EasyViz security cam, which will be installed between the charging stations. I also printed this flange to attach the camera to and measured out a piece of 5mm steel which I cut to the appropriate size. Mirror shined the surface to remove old paint and position both flange and the back of the motion sensor on the plate to mark the holes with a small drill. Drilled out the holes on my drill press to make perfect vertical holes and tapped M5 threads into it. Gave all parts a black finish, screwed a metal adapter ring onto the back side of the plate, and attached both the camera flange and the back of the motion sensor to it. And all attached, it looks like this. Measured out the exact spot between the mowers and screwed this pipe adapter onto the slab. Inserted a steel pipe, cut it to size, and closed it off temporarily to prevent water coming in. Connect the camera with my phone and screwed it onto the flange. Took it outside and slide that mission control plate onto the pipe, adjusting the height and tighten it all up. Installed the motion sensor and the rain cover, all painted to match that orange Husky color, and mission control is done. Downright awesome if you ask me. Adding soil to the base and dropping in some grass seeds to make sure everything is covered. And right after that, it was finally time to install both fences, at last, after waiting for months. And finally, the moment I was waiting for. Placing both of my mowers into the charging stations. Fully charged off course. Look at those rotating beacons, all working like it should. You bet it puts a smile on my face, folks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for, the money shot. And that's about wraps it up, folks. Thanks for watching, and see y'all back in another video.